This episode of Joyride is being brought to you by High Bank. High Bank is a proud Columbus-based distillery. Look for High Bank spirits at your local liquor store and favorite bars around the city. By purchasing High Bank spirits, you're supporting and drinking local. Drink local, drink High Bank.
You're listening to Joyride, a podcast for people who love cars. Now sit back and enjoy the ride.
All right, so we're back in the saddle. This is it, officially.
Yeah.
I forget how we do this, man.
I do too, but welcome to Joyride. Welcome back. We are back.
We're live in the studio.
In the studio, sort of.
Respective studios.
Yes. So we're doing this moving forward. We're going to do Joyride remotely. I'm still at our house where we were normally doing the show. And Pete, where are you at? You're not in here.
I'm not in that room. No. I'm actually in my house, 25 minutes away. So
through the magic of the internet, we are connecting, and this is how it's going to be, I think, for a while.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I personally wonder if we'll ever be back in the same room, just with how we find it to be so convenient. And
yes.
You know, like, hey, you want to record? Yeah. You know, I mean, before we were on this Thursday night schedule and we were working around bedtimes and something would pop up.
Well, somebody, you live, you know, it's 40 minutes away. So,
you
know, it's not easy.
We'll get some under our belt like this and see how we feel about it. I mean, it's kind of weird because the entire podcast started with us getting together in person, typically with drinks involved, and finding our way in the corner by ourselves with everybody else somewhere else and us just talking about cars.
It's weird not seeing your beautiful face right now. So you might have to get that sorted out at some point down the line and add some webcams to this thing.
We'll do a webcam version. Yeah. Oh, now it's something. I'll tell you. So, how long's it been since we've been back?
Our last episode where we were together went live October 24th.
Yikes, that hurts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, we've missed every minute of it, you know. Just to let everybody listening know, we had several text conversations of, hey, can we do it? And the reality is, a few weeks ago, we almost recorded an episode, didn't we?
Yeah, that's right.
And then I got COVID. So...
Yeah, the COVID.
So, a few weeks ago, I ended up getting COVID. No idea from where. The whole family got it. My voice sounded horrible. Otherwise, we would have done this a few weeks ago. I'm all healed back up. The whole family's doing good for the most part. So
fantastic, man. Yeah.
Shout out to everybody who's been listening. I noticed that we've gotten a lot of downloads since we've gone away, so I appreciate any of new listeners out there. But yeah, it's been way too long. Way too long.
I mean, there's probably so much we've missed in the car world.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
With that said, what's piquing your interest here in the last 2 months?
One of the things that's happened since we've been gone is Lotus. Are you familiar with Lotus, the car brand?
I am. Aren't they the guys that make like exotic sports cars that or borderline supercars, only one model at a time?
They're exclusively sports cars. And to your point, they sort of drift into the supercar price range, you know, that kind of high 80s into hundreds, depending on, you know, thousands of dollars, depending on how you spec it, right?
The last one I remember, is it, am I saying it right? The Elise?
The Elise, yep. They still make that one.
They still make that?
They still make the Elise.
Such a weird looking car, man.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike it. I mean, I don't know how to classify it. I mean, it's a sports car, ragtop, 2-seater.
Yeah.
Weird shape, weird lines. The thing about it that bothers me, if anything bothers me about it, is I've never gone in like, it's never like been a top 5 or top 10. You know, if you put a list of cars together that I would love to see in the garage, Lotus is, particularly the Elise, it's never been in the list.
People rave about the Elise because of how raw the driving experience is. It's a very small car with lots of power. It's super light. Its only purpose is to offer a sporting experience. The interior is very stripped down. The amenities are very stripped down. They famously, a lot of times the AC doesn't really work very well. Same thing with the heating. The heat works fine because the car gets hot. Right? But it's famously good for really great chassis, phenomenally involved driving experience, right? If that's what you're going for.
Like 185 horsepower or something? I mean, I think I'm being over exaggerating a little bit, but I remember being so underwhelmed and then like realizing like, well, I guess it's small and light, and so that's the purpose.
Right. Yeah. So they started making the Lotus, the Elise in 96.
Oh,
96. It's a 1.8 liter, and it's a Toyota engine, so they're actually somewhat reliable.
No kidding.
135 horsepower is the base model,
I thought,
and then 190 for the higher end model. But here's the thing: it weighs 1,800 pounds.
I was gonna say like a motorcycle, Harley's 1,100, right? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
it weighs 1,800, and the one with the bigger engine only weighs 2,000 pounds. So my M that we drove, that thing weighs 3,300 pounds. So this
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, this is 1,300 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
So they make the Elise. You're right. They also make the Exige. From what I understand, it's like if you wanted even more race car, like that's what that one is. And then the Evora, which is like they're slightly bigger. It's like a 2x2. So you've got the 2 front seats, and then the 2 back seats are kind of like what you would get in a Mustang or Camaro, where they're only usable for children or like storage,
Yeah, right.
Well, all of those are going away in 2021. So those 3 models are going bye-bye. It's strange to me that they've been making them for so long that they cut them all off at the same point.
Yeah.
And they're planning on revealing 2 new models this year that are supposed to be in showrooms by the end of the year, but nobody knows what these cars look like yet.
No kidding.
It says, a new generation of products. So I don't know if it's going to be, all sort of based off the same chassis or what, but I think they got bought out. Yeah. Some investment firm took ownership of them in 2017. So I think this is just part of their structure going forward.
That's going to be a tough hill to sled on that. I mean, investment firms, maybe I'm speaking out of turn because I haven't done any research on it, but I've never like heard of a like prevailing car company or successful brand that's been owned by, private investment. Public companies don't do a great job either. They go bankrupt all the time and stuff, right? Always beholden to the customer. But I think about Saab, right? And like, how that went away, and then a private investment company bought it and started trying to make smaller electric cars in the China market. I haven't followed up on it in so long, but I certainly haven't seen one stateside.
You don't see those very much anymore.
No, well, I mean, the last year they produced a new Saab was 2000. Well, the model year was a 2011, available in the fall of 2010. So you're talking about a 9-10-year-old car at this point that, for the most part, at the end of its existence, was not a luxury car or well built in any capacity. I mean, speaking from from personal experience here, I had a 2011 9.3, and it was cheap GM plastic all the way around in the interior. It was like Pontiac G8 door handles. I mean, it was a Chevy Cobalt engine turbocharged, I think. I mean, I don't know, but it certainly wasn't, the Saab of say 1995, right? Or 1985. It wasn't the same. So if you find these things, they've got 160,000 miles or more. They're really beat up, really worn out because they were in such financial distress for the last 2-3 years. You'd have to pull the numbers, but the units that they moved were fractions of any other car, like brand or model, in the same comparing years. So the 9.3 was the most popular, obviously, because of the price point. So I think those were the most produced. But there was this 9X7 or 9X5. It was, do you remember the Chevy Captiva, which was like the Saturn View?
No,
Okay, so Saturn went away. They badged it with a bow tie and called it the Captiva or something. And then the same platform as one platform up was the the Equinox?
Saab 995?
9X5.
9X5. Okay.
Yeah. It was an Equinox platform that
thing's weird looking.
So I kind of wanted one because it's so bizarre looking.
Yeah.
I think they only sold 13,000. Like I don't know what the number is, but they sold so few that you physically cannot find one coast to coast. And if you put in a search, I bet you won't. No more than 15 will pop up if they pop up at all. And now they're 10 years, 9-10 years old. So just natural attrition of driving the car, whether it be accidents or mechanical failures or what have you. Like I'd be surprised if there was a handful left hanging around. I mean, and then who knows what the mileage would be, but that was a long way around talking about investment companies. That's
getting back to the Lotus thing. Like, they're intriguing to me as a car brand because they're not a McLaren, they're not a Ferrari where they're just building supercars. Like, these things, if you buy one that's a few years old and they're almost identical because they're a small company, building these cars, they dip into the 40s, 40,000. Now, again, that's still obviously pricey, right? But
sure.
It's not like that. You can't go out and get a McLaren for $40K.
No.
Not one that's running. You could get a total. You could get a totaled one for 40 probably. But if it were me and I was a car brand, I'm only making 3 vehicles, 2 really, because the one is just like a souped up like race car version of the other one, and I wanted to unveil a new line. I would want probably some overlap there. No, like I wonder if it's like because it's a big risk to do away with everything you've done so far.
I don't think that's their MO though, Rob. I don't know if I'm wrong on this, but I certainly could be. But I always thought, or at least the Lotus in my head is, we make one model, and then until we bring the next one out. So
the Elise and the Evora are 2 different. They're 2 different cars. They're not built on the same.
Up until that happened, I think if you go back through the history of Lotus and models, I think you'll only find one model per production run.
Yeah, that could be.
I remember hearing or reading or something, years ago. It was because they were small and they were kind of the bespoke version of sports car. That's interesting that they're coming out with a new one and follow all the same stuff you do. Like, I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah, I mean, they say that it's going to be in showrooms by the end of the year. So the fact that we haven't even seen spy shots of it yet, or any sort of teaser reveal yet of, especially when the line's going away, is strange to me. But they're an English company, so they're doing their own thing.
Yeah, that's
and relatively small. I mean, they're making 2 kinds of cars in a niche market. I have their Wikipedia page up here. It says that they in 2017 they only made $11 million.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, it's small. How many units did it say they produced?
So the article that I'm reading on Autocar just says that they've sold around 55,000 units of the 3 different cars by the time this ends. So I don't know if that's like from the inception of all of them, they've sold 55,000 units. That's
even
probably the case.
Even if it's from 2005, like shit.
Yeah.
GM cancels a car if only 55,000 units are sold. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, they sell that much in a month, know? So I like Lotus as a brand. I kind of like that they're the funky Porsche competitor, M2 competitor. I like that they're a little funky. You don't see them. I remember the first time I saw a Lotus Elise in Canton. It was orange. I don't know if you remember seeing an orange Lotus. Yeah. But I was like, what in the hell is that thing?
Yeah, all bug-eyed and weird. Yeah.
Awesome looking as a car. I still think they look really, really nice. The Evora doesn't look quite as cool to me. But it's more of a GT car. It's, a little bit more relaxed and that sort of thing. They still make racy versions of it or whatever, but it's a bigger car, so it's kind of a different thing. But
is it like a coupe or a coupe?
The GT version is the one with the 2 seats up front and then the 2 little seats in the back. Yeah. Okay. But the top doesn't come off. So that's what I do like about the Elise is that the top is like a target top kind of where you can take the panel off like a Corvette. But yeah, I hope they do well because I like Lotus as a brand.
I think it's tough because they can't. I don't know what category to put them in. I mean, you said like Porsche competitor, but true maybe in the 90s. But Porsches now are putting out supercar numbers as far as performance goes. Like, I don't know what category it really goes in.
But here's the thing though, a lot of the newer Porsches, while they are fast, they've gotten bigger. They've gotten more luxurious. They've gotten more, unless you get up to the GT3s, like that are more focused on race car, driving experience versus, Lotus is that at the base level, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I just like that they focus on, we build sports cars, super sports cars, essentially, I guess. Right. It's kind of the or whatever category you want to put them in. And I like that they've survived this long. And I wish them all the success because
I can't wait to see it.
I can't wait to see it either. I'm looking forward to it because their designs are funky and I like funky cars.
Nice. Well, you mentioned, and maybe this was off air, but you mentioned GM announcing that they will transition the entire fleet of production to all electric by 2035.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. I mean, that's 14 years from now.
Do you believe that?
I do. I mean, as much as you
believe it.
Yeah. Okay. What's more unbelievable to me is that the production cycle for a new model is like 7 years prior to its debut. And that may have shortened more recent times, but you're telling me in 14 years we're going to have all electric fleets, and in half that, I mean, they really only got 7 years between now and then to start phasing out like their design, their R&D space, and start moving the production towards all electric. I mean, that's nuts. That's crazy to me. Here's the worst part, right?
Yeah.
I want a 2500 diesel so bad. And by the time I'm going to be able to afford one, it will no longer be made, Robert.
Yeah, it'll be electric.
I mean, that was the biggest piece of like sadness when I read that, I was like, it's going to take me another 10 years to be able to afford one of these trucks. And in 10 years, they won't make them anymore.
Well, you want to talk about that? Think about the LS engine.
Yeah.
Think about the sound of an LS engine.
Yeah.
It's going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
If they're really saying that for serious, that they're going to transition the entire thing to be all EV. Now, I think it leaves them a little wiggle room to say, okay, well, there's hybrid, right?
Yeah.
We still have the LS motor, but we've integrated hybrid technology into the power steering or something, so they can kind of skirt that.
They won't do that. They won't do that. I promise you, if they go hybrid, they're going to put a 4-cylinder.
I don't want to live in a world where I can't go out and shop.
Dude. I know.
A LS powered Corvette. Are you kidding? Or a Camaro? Are you kidding me?
It's done. It's over.
Are you kidding? There's no way.
Hang it up.
There's absolutely no way. You're saying take it to the bank.
I'm telling you, in our lifetime.
Oh, I know it'll happen in our lifetime.
There won't be a single vehicle produced on an internal combustion engine.
Yeah,
not for the retail consumer.
I agree with that. I've
Now,
come to terms with the fact that
is
there
it
will
coming
be a
in
time.
14 years or 18 years or 20? I don't know, but yeah,
There's no way it happens in 14 years.
The reason I got over this hump and came to this like sobering realization is they started hard. I mean, hard with the pivot in their trucks. In the second you lose trucks, nothing else matters, dude. Nothing else matters.
Oh, dude, no.
Yeah. Think about how sacred and how iconic the American truck is and what it does and what it represents and how it's been made for the last 50 years, right? You take that icon and you completely strip out its DNA and put in an electric powertrain. What else is there? I mean, there's nothing left.
Yeah.
Who cares if the minivan's electric? Who cares if dare I say, who cares if the Corvette's electric at that point? The truck is more important and holds a higher pedestal than a Corvette or a Camaro ever would.
I have a hard time, but I disagree with you on that one.
I'm telling you.
I think Corvette is pinnacle for GM.
It's not. It's
not in sales, but in spirit, I think it is.
No, I mean, it's definitely an important slice to the pie, but as a slice, it's a sliver, and 3/4 of the rest of that pie is truck, man.
Yeah,
truck year in and year out by sales, by consumer, by end market. The Corvette's cool and it's got a place and it's got these, little group of engineers that put out some really cool stuff and but the truck is the heart and soul of the company. And
listen, all you Corvette engineers out there that are listeners of the show, you don't mind Peter right now. Okay. All right. You just go make yourself another beverage and let Pete go on this little truck rant and then you can come back.
Hot take right here. I'm telling you. And anybody disagrees just can't come to terms with it.
Well, I can't come to terms with it.
I say the same thing for Ford too. I mean, the truck in the American market and the American culture and vernacular and just fabric of our existence it cannot be understated. I mean, it can't be overstated. It just can't. And to take that and turn it into an electric truck, I mean, forget it. I don't care. Take it all. I mean, you've taken it all already. But that's where it's going. That's what it's about. I mean, and at one point I'll have an electric truck, and so will every other person from executive down to redneck, right? I mean, like there's no choice. That's what's coming.
It'll be like horses, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody today thinks about, man, I miss riding horses around.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some people do, but some people do it for fun, right? You've got a couple of horses,
Yeah, but I don't take them up to your house to record this thing.
Right. Probably a generation from now, nobody will care. Nobody will even remember, or think a second thought about gasoline powered cars. But you know what? I fucking do. And it bums me out that GM put that statement out there. And I hope they're liars. I don't, listen, I want to caveat that last thing I just said. I'm all about the environment. One of the other things in that article was that they want to be carbon neutral by 2040. Now that I love that. Like, I love that companies are caring about the planet that we're all on, that our children are going to have to be, and our children's children, and doing their job to be carbon neutral. That's awesome. I love that they're pushing forward with electric vehicles to give people the option. Love that. Obviously, I want those things to be. Those are all good things.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't disagree, but
losing combustion engines in 14 years.
That's why I'm stacking them up in my garage, man.
I was hoping I was going to be old, retired old when this happened. Not 14 years from now.
No.
I still? No, I'm going to be. All right, no, I'm not going to.
Can I
do some math?
Can I retire? Oh. Can I retire in 14 years?
Hey, if this podcast takes off, you can retire in 14.
Please like and subscribe for the love of God. Yeah, I saw something the other day about Mustang. Ford's committed to take the Mustang all electric. I don't know when or where, but I mean, think about that. I mean, you got Mustangs right now at the peak of the mountain, right? Putting out 750, 800 horse stock. before any tuning company, like gets their hands on it.
With a warranty.
Yeah.
With a fucking warranty.
The only person with their middle fingers, in the air on both hands going down.
The Mopar boys.
Yeah, Dodge, man. They're like, you know what? We're just going to take this thing right into the ground. That's cool.
Yeah, I respect it.
Yeah, shit. They might be the smartest guys in the room, right? Because if everybody else commits to 100% electric fleet and your only option, Rob, in 15 years for an internal combustion engine is Dodge, guess what we're buying?
Well, and not only that, right? Like, what if they commit? Because to your point, the lead time, right, on setting something up is years and years, right? So let's say you said 7. Let's cut it in half. Let's say it's we'll round up 4 years, right? We'll just say, and you're Ford and you're GM, you've made this pledge that you're going to be all electric. What happens when in 14 years you come out? You've got the electric Corvette and you've got the electric Camaro and the electric Mustang and they suck. What happens then?
Can you go backwards?
You can't recover. You can't go backwards. You have 4 years where you're going to eat shit in the market on those platforms because you've still got potentially Dodge making combustion engines. Like, could Ford and GM survive? Maybe. Yeah. Maybe they survive that. Probably. Selling next to nothing as far as Mustang and Corvettes and Camaro. Like they could pivot. And
I think their reach is so far that even on down years, somebody's always going to want to drive a Mustang. It's just, I don't know why.
Part of that experience is that V8. Like that's one thing that everybody says when they get into an EcoBoost Mustang or they get into a V6 Camaro is that, like, if you go find a review, pick any review on the internet, go to YouTube right now, type a search in, 100%. One of the things they will say is it doesn't have that V8 snarl. It doesn't have, it's still fast. It's still whatever, but it doesn't vibrate and it doesn't sound, and you don't get that sort of experience without the V8.
Yeah. You want to go to the moon, be an astronaut. For the rest of us, you get behind the biggest fucking V8 you can and act reckless. And they're taking that away from us, man.
Taking that away. Well, so that just means we got to buy them up now, man.
I'll tell you.
Buy them up now, baby.
Good luck. Everything's expensive. But yeah, I told my dad the other night, just last night, I think. I was like, you know what? I don't think I can afford it, but I might try. I might just go buy a newer, not new, but say 4-year-old Mustang GT Roush. Just to have it once, because if I don't do it now, I feel like I'll never get it. They're all going to go away.
They're all going to go away, and they're all going to go up in value too, probably.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because the gas stations aren't going anywhere.
No.
Just because GM decides to do that.
It'll probably take 40, 50 years for a gas station to phase out.
One of the other things I wanted to talk to you about tonight is, I don't know if you saw this or not, all of the craziness with the stock market.
Oh my God, yeah.
We're not going to talk about that. Don't worry. Don't switch us off. But we are going to talk about a certain auto manufacturer. Their stocks jumped 14% after a certain thing happened.
You talking Tesla?
I'm not talking Tesla.
No.
I'm talking Kia.
Really? I think now I know where you're going. Okay.
Yeah. So Kia got in bed with somebody, and their stocks jumped 14% because just a tiny little company called Apple invested $3.6 billion into their company.
Jeez.
So Apple wants to get into making cars.
Electric cars.
They want to get in, and so that you can drive an iCar. I don't know what they're going to call it, but it's probably going to be an iCar, right?
Yeah, probably. I mean, that makes most sense. How
do you feel about that?
I mean, I guess,
because you're an Apple guy.
I have Apple stuff. I don't like any of it. I mean,
if you don't like it, then why do you have it? Why?
Because I'm trapped in the ecosystem. I mean, they know what they're doing. Everything is wrapped up in the same thing, and they all talk to each other, and unwinding this fucking mess would be impossible.
You just pull the plug, man. You just do it.
Just do it. Go off the grid. That's the only thing I can do. You know what's interesting though is think I remember hearing that Tesla, when it wasn't doing very well, tried to sell itself to Apple, and Tim Cook, who was the CEO at the time, still is, didn't even take the meeting.
Longtime listener to the Joyride podcast, Tim. What's up, Tim Cook?
Hey, thanks, Tim. Thanks, Tim. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tim. Yeah, I
wouldn't even take the meeting, huh?
I don't think so. I mean,
hilarious.
I don't have the article in front of me, but that's the joy of this podcast. I don't have to fact check anything, and if you want to, feel free. I don't care. Which it's kind of amazing, right? Now Tesla is one of the most valuable companies in the world, and
their value went up huge in the last few years. I mean, it's crazy.
And now Apple's like, okay, well, whoops, let's start building our own. Like, okay,
well, but I don't know if Tesla goes up without Elon being Elon, though. You know what I mean? Like, if they get bought and Elon is taken out of the spotlight and not, the figurehead that he is, I don't know that. What do you think?
What do you think the value is that he's adding? I mean,
he's just a wild man, genius, kind of like savant dude. You don't understand the value that he adds behind the scenes.
Maybe not. Yeah. I mean, I think he's really good at having really ambitious ideas and asking why not instead of we can't, right? But I think Tesla has kind of got an inertia and momentum on its own too, to an extent that I feel like it could carry without him. I don't. Maybe not as high profile, maybe not as strong to your point. But I mean, Tesla. If I'm going to buy an electric car, I'm buying a Tesla. I'm not buying a GM, and I'm not buying a Ford. I'm gonna wait and buy a Tesla. I like the way they look. Yeah. I think they're cool as shit, and. No, I think they look pretty cool. I just okay.
I'll give you this. They look like electric cars should probably look.
Yeah, sure.
They're probably doing the best job styling electric cars.
What a backhanded compliment if I've ever heard of. Did they have a recall recently? Did I remember seeing that?
They did, yeah.
It wasn't a safety recall though, was it?
Not a small recall either. It's 135,000 units.
Ooh.
And apparently it's like the backup camera and the signals sometimes won't work. And the I think they have one where if you turn the turn signal on, you also get another camera or something like that that shows your blind spot that doesn't work. Pretty big recall for them. You don't see that too often.
What model year?
Tesla. Let's see.
Because you're right, you don't see that very
2012 through 2018 Model S.
Interesting.
And 2016 to 2018 Model X.
That's a nuisance recall too. I mean, if you're Tesla, you're like, wow, sweet. Now I got to spend a lot of money and fix this.
So during all these interviews that they're having to give, one of the things that came out, I love this response too, because you're right. It's a silly thing that, if you're in a normal car that doesn't have a backup camera or doesn't have, blind spot monitoring or whatever, you just fucking look, right?
Yeah, right.
So they were doing an interview, and one of the things that says, and I can hear the snark in this statement. Quote, the driver can perform a shoulder check and use the mirrors. If the screen is not visible to control the climate control and defroster settings, the driver may be able to manually clear the windshield.
Yeah, right.
It's like, get out and turn the windshield wipers on.
Peasant,
scrape the car.
Oh my God.
Look with your eyeballs. So I liked that response.
Yeah.
That was kind of
eat shit and die.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
I forever remember my father, who is just old and set in his ways. But he wasn't that old when he said this to me. I was always dogging on him for technology. Like all these new models would come out. My dad always drives these old ass cars, and he got a Suburban and was furious that he couldn't get manual 4-wheel drive on the floor, and went back and forth until they finally found one and shipped it, right. And his whole thing was like, electronics can break. This is mechanical. It's like, and then you have a recall like Tesla, right? It's like, yep. Needless cameras and sensors that you could otherwise just look over your shoulder. Here's a problem that didn't need to exist and now does.
Where's that Roadster at, Elon?
Gone.
Where's that Tesla Roadster?
Yeah.
Where's it at? Where's it at?
That was a cool car.
It's a cool looking car.
Yeah.
When is it coming out? Nobody freaking knows when it's coming out.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Cybertruck right after it.
Gosh, I'm looking at an article right now. When is the Tesla Roadster release date? We're still waiting.
Yeah.
Dated February 3rd, 2021.
How about all those fools that put a deposit in on the truck?
Well, and you had to put a deposit on the Roadster too. But it's interesting that they've gone up so much.
Yeah.
And, they have two like massively, secret projects in the Roadster and in the truck that just are vaporware. They don't exist.
Right.
But
Right.
yet their value as a company has shot up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Much like their rockets that are going out into space.
Well, Rob, I think that was another successful episode. First one fully remote. What did you think?
I love this, man.
Yeah.
It's been so great talking to you again about cars. I miss this so much, so it was a blast.
I'm with you on that, man.
I wish we could be in the same room. I do. I'm looking forward to when that happens again, but in the meantime, this will work.
Yeah.
This will work for me.
Yeah. The good news is we didn't lose our sponsor over our break. So special thanks
That's
to
true.
High Bank Distillery. What's the website, Rob?
Highbankco.com.
There you go.
Go there. They're a Columbus-based distillery. Get some food, get some drinks.
They are the top Columbus-based distillery. I know there's a few other ones out there, been around a little bit longer. I'm putting the flag in the sand right now. Best in Columbus.
That means a lot coming from you.
I know it does. I know. That's why I said it with such conviction.
I could feel it from here.
How about our own site? What is that? I haven't dust that one off. What's that URL?
So if you want to, check out some more episodes on the show or any information or whatever, merch. You can head up our website. It's joyridepod.com. If you want to reach out to the show, ask us any questions, tell us we're full of shit.
Slide up in our DMs.
What's the email, Pete?
Oh, that I have no idea. I think it's contactjoyridepod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Bonus points. I've been drinking.
Good job. I knew you could do it.
There we go. How about the Instagram handle? You probably don't know that one.
Joyride Pod on Instagram.
Yeah, he did.
Send us a follow.
He did know that.
There's not a lot of pictures up there because it's the middle of winter where we're at.
Yeah.
And, we're not going outside.
Friend of ours saw a McLaren driving down 161 today.
No.
Yeah.
Today?
Yeah, today. And the vanity plate was stupid.
First off, for those of you not in the Columbus area, it snowed a lot today.
It snowed a lot today.
And there was a lot of snow in and around things. So, okay, McLaren, did he get what model it was or no?
Well, yes. And I don't want to shout out the model because the stupid vanity plate was the model of the car. I thought, man, you could do anything. And you put the same...
What was the vanity plate?
I'm not gonna tell you because there's only one, and you could know who I'm talking about, and I don't want the public to know that.
You don't want to put them on blast.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. He's probably or she. I don't know. I didn't see him driving, but they're probably a nice person.
Well, I love McLaren, so
yeah, McLaren's
good on you.
Yeah,
good choice. I like it. McLaren, Lamborghini, Ferrari. I kind of lean McLaren. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I kind of.
You're not wrong for that. I could agree with that. Longest outro ever, by the way.
Big outro. Big long outro. All right. Thanks again, everybody, for listening. And we'll check you guys out next week.
Next week. All right, guys.
Until next time.
Enjoy the ride.
So we're synced up. I'm gonna pour a little drink. Are you still dry?
I not completely dry, but it's been about a week since my last alcoholic beverage.
Are you going to have one as a celebratory Joyride beverage?
I've got a little Yeti canister sitting next to me here, so I'm sipping.
Okay, good. I probably should have said that in the beginning.
You can engineer that.
I could cut it into the front there.
Yeah.
I suppose. Turbo. Oh shit!
There's the COVID. Yep,
there it is.
That's why we're not in the same room.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It'll probably take 40, 50 years for a gas station to phase out.
Yeah. I mean, we might not make it till then.
Oh God.
You know what else doesn't help when you've got the COVIDs? Drinking whiskey. So,
yeah, I heard you're the second person that's said, like I tried to have a drink the other day because they had COVID and they got over it. And I was like, it did not go well.
The first cocktail I had after COVID, I made myself just a real light little orange juice, little cranberry juice, little coconut rum, right?
Oh, yeah.
Nothing crazy.
No.
Just a little bit of coconut rum. Just take the edge off.
Yeah.
It's the end of the night.
Yeah.
I was like, I had a pretty good day. I'm starting to feel better. And I had that drink and it knocked me the fuck out, dude.
Did it really?
Yeah. And like I said, I put like maybe a finger of rum into the thing. So like on a normal night, wouldn't think twice about it. Probably wouldn't even get a buzz going.
Yeah, right.
This thing knocked me the fuck out, dude. I was in outer fucking space. I slept real good though.
I bet. Okay. How do we wrap these things up?
How do we what?
How do we wrap these things up? I forget.
Until next time.
Enjoy the ride.
I can hear the music. I can hear it in my head. I know.